Go.
Welcome to What's the Score for Everton's trip to Old Trafford. The game's coming thick and fast. Matt, it seems we're doing one of these every other night, doesn't it?
I know, mate. I know. It's we were just saying before we started that whenever we moan about the team, we seem to win. Whenever we're happy with the team, we seem to lose as well. So it's all a bit weird. I see the cat's got involved as well, just behind you.
Oh, can you see him? Yeah, he's here every time. Every time we kick one of these off, or a Zoom call would work, whatever, he pops up. So the team tonight is a bit of a not a headache, but a dilemma for Ancelotti with the defenders, isn't it? Because I think Yerry Mina and Godfrey did so well against Leeds. How do you drop either one of them? But I think against United, I'd always play Keane, if only because he's an ex-Man United player, and that can often work out well, can't it?
Yeah, I think there's been a leaked team, hasn't there?
I have seen that. I saw Tom Davis is in that, who was thinking it'd be a good game for him to come in.
Yeah, so I think the league team is Olsen, Holgate, Keane, Godfrey, Digne, Davis, Gomez, Decore, James, Dom, Richarlison. So that would indicate that'll be back to 4-3-3. But yeah, just on the two players you mentioned, Keane. Yeah, I think I wouldn't say Mina's been dropped if he's out the side. I feel as though just need to appreciate the fact that there's going to be a lot of games over the next few weeks, and he's not. I think he's played every game since the start of December.
Yeah, so, true. And we're not playing twice a week for the next 2 weeks now, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so he's
big games as well.
Yeah, he's going to need a rest of something.
City, Liverpool, Spurs,
and I think like some people say to me on Twitter, you rest him against Fulham instead because he's been that important, but. We've got this game and another game in 3 days before that, so I think it's one. It feels like it's pre-planned. Maybe the fact that Keane was dropped against Leeds sort of indicated that one of them would play.
Yeah.
Games, and obviously they knew that Godfrey wasn't going to play against Newcastle and Holgate wasn't going to play against Newcastle. It feels like they've mapped this out ahead of time. But I think Daves as well. You're right. I was surprised he didn't get in the team on Wednesday. Having done okay, to be fair, hasn't he, in recent weeks?
Yeah.
But big chance for him tonight. I think if you could say what his best position is, it's probably playing in a midfield three. I don't think it really suits a two.
No.
For players, but playing in a midfield three should be at his best. Next to someone like Decore and Gomez, who are both playing really well too. So big opportunities for those lads if they do. Still waiting for it to be confirmed, but I'm not surprised he's freshened it up at all if that's the case.
The fact that James never got on against Leeds, as you say, it all looks very pre-planned that this is how they're going to attack at least these next two games. I think the big thing will be, the big decision will be, obviously, the natural thing to do will be to drop Ben Godfrey and put Keane and Mina back together. But it feels like you can't do that now. It feels like Godfrey's become that player in the team who we need, because it's not just how good he is, it's everything else he brings to the team. It's that desire that becomes infectious, doesn't it?
Yeah.
There's that clip of him doing the slide tackle. There's him charging up the pitch with the ball. It's like that does rub off on players. And as good as Yerry Mina and Michael Keane are, they don't have that in the game really. So it feels like he needs to be in the team with one of the other two.
Yeah, everyone's drunk on Ben Godfrey at the moment, aren't they?
Oh, completely.
I think we've done. I think of all the shows we've done since Wednesday, they've all had some relation to him in the title or something about him.
Even mailbag today.
The caption, yeah. Like the last 3 days, we have 3 different shows, and they've all been, related to Ben Godfrey. Which is understandable. Everyone should be well excited about him. But yeah, I think you're right, and I think it's that aggression, isn't it? That Newcastle game. Could you imagine us playing that and him allowing James to be kicked around? He would have been in someone's faces, snarling around and trying to, not snap them, but certainly leave one on them. And I think you need that in the team. And Holgate's a bit like that, maybe not to the same degree, but they do just give us that edge. And I think just more than anything, mate, like at a point in the season where, I watched Southampton, Newcastle before, and oh my God, Southampton looked absolutely goosed.
Really?
Like, yeah, you sort of look at it and think, at this point in the season where it's just attritional and horrible, you can't have enough athletes in the side. Lads who get around the pitch and carry the ball. And I imagine that probably really demoralising to play against. When the weather's horrible, your legs are heavy, you've played 3 games in the space of a week, and you've got a fruit machine on wheels, effectively charging towards. It must be horrible, mustn't it? If you're like a winger or something like that, or a nippy forward. So I think we can't speak highly enough, and the need to have those sorts of players in the team at this time of year. Obviously, you've got to mix that with quality when you go to places like this, and that's where there'll be an onus on people like James and Luka Dean and Andre Gomez in that regard. But you're right about Godfrey, mate. You've got to find a place for him in that back four, regardless over the next few weeks, because he's just, you can see what he does and the things he brings to the team, but it's the intangibles as well, which I think is what makes us also very excited about him. Yeah,
definitely. You think back to this game last year, which seems a lot longer. I think I say this every time I do the corresponding fixture, but it seems like a lot longer than not far off this time last year when we played at Old Trafford and got that 1-1 draw. It's an unlikely 1-1 draw as well, wasn't it? We went ahead early and we hung on, just didn't have enough in the end. But you kind of feel if we can replicate that sort of gritty performance today, we could have enough up front to see the game through, perhaps, and even more at the back to see the game through. Because I think if we've got that solid back four with Dean at left back, I'd say Holgate right back, Keenan Mean or Godfrey, two of those three at centre backs, that puts us in that gives us a really good platform defensively, doesn't it? And you think if we dig in like we did.
Yeah, 100%. It's that's got to be the foundation for that's the thing we're best at, isn't it? As much as we've got three really good forwards who are potentially playing today, Everton are at the best when they're just being defensive and trying to keep it out. That's the thing we've excelled at. That's why that's how we've accumulated most of our points this season, and that should be a good thing going to these games away from home where we're not going to have loads of the ball. We are going to be pinned back at times, and you're going to have to soak up a lot of pressure. That's what we're all about, and that's sort of become our identity, which is not, it's not maybe stuff that neutrals want to watch or anything, but for us, when we're winning games and, staying up the league table, that's absolutely fine. But yeah, I think it'll obviously be the first time we've had those three attacking players on the pitch against United this season. In the two games we've had against them, Richarlison missed one and James missed the other. So maybe we can trouble what I still think is quite a ropey United defence a little bit more tonight. But I think you've also got to accept they've got quality as well, haven't you? I don't know what their team's going to be, but they'll have firepower up top. And if Ben Godfrey is playing centre back against someone like Edison Cavani, he won't have come up against someone who's got movement like that before, and it's going to be a real test for him. Same with Mason Holgate potentially playing right back against someone like Marcus Rashford, and James not getting back to help him out that much on the right hand side. That's going to be a task. But I don't know how you feel about it, but I've been trying to decide in my head all day whether I think this is we should consider this a free hit sort of game, and have a bit of a game, or I don't know. It is a tough one, because if you win here tonight, all of a sudden we're I think we're 5 points behind United. Then we've got 2 games in hand on them as well, so you're right back in the mix for second then. But I don't know. I'd still be made up of a point. Don't get me wrong.
Oh God, yeah. I think sort of having this sort of form is something that's relatively new to us, isn't it? We don't see it that often, so it's kind of getting your head around the fact that when you're at this level now, no game's a free hit really, because every game is dead important. And it's quite difficult to get your head around, because you can't just come out of this and think, oh well, it was United away, we never get anything there. It's kind of well, do you know what? We are actually good enough to get something there. Although interestingly,
and the league's mad as well, isn't it?
What's that?
Sheffield United went there and won.
Well, exactly. Yeah, and then you beat Southampton 9-0 the week after. But the little stat for United, since they've run 6 Premier League home matches without a win, United have now won 5 of the last 7, scoring 20 goals. Obviously 9 against Southampton and conceding 5. So it's their home form was a problem for them start of the season, and their away form was keeping them in the running. Now they've just got the shit together at home and away. So it's not going to be an easy game, and you kind of think Sheffield United getting that win there makes it more difficult for us in a way.
Yeah,
they're not going to succumb to something like that again.
Yeah, they have got weak points in the team, though, haven't they?
God, yeah.
The goalie's still a bit. De Gea is not what he once was. Maguire's very capable of, throwing in a mad performance. They've got issues in midfield. I don't think he's quite sure on his best midfield yet, whether it's, Pogba and McTominay, or McTominay and Fred and Pogba somewhere else in the side. I think Wan-Bissaka's had a bit of a ropey time recently, even though he scored in midweek. So that could be an interesting battle for Richarlison today. Because I think Wan-Bissaka's tending to get the better of him We played these, to be fair, in recent matches. So that'll be a test for him today. But, you know, their strengths in attack, isn't it? And I think it's just whether you're bold enough to go and try and exploit them defensively, because they have got holes there in defence. But yeah, interesting one. It's going to be an interesting one. But is the team out?
Teams are out, yeah. Olsen, Holgate, Dean's captain. Keane, it was the league team actually. Keane, Godfrey, Davis, Andre Gomez, Decore, Calvert-Lewin, Rodriguez, Richarlison.
I think that's an all right. I mean, what I should say is that's absolutely terrible. Carlo out.
Oh, shite! That. I mean, I don't even know what that's going to line up.
Yeah, when we do, yeah. What form? We play free at the back.
What formation's this?
I don't know why you guys watch us. Honestly,
it's like the blind leading the blind, isn't it? United's team. De Gea, Lindelof, Maguire, Pogba, Cavani's playing. Rashford, Greenwood, Fernandes, Shaw, Wan-Bissaka, McTominay. So yeah, pretty much as you'd expect them to line up as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it should be a good game. This, you know, I feel like that's although I don't know what the lineup's going to be, and I hate the team Carlo's putting out, I do feel that's the team that can go toe to toe with United tonight.
Yeah. If it wasn't us on this, and I was a more positive Evertonian, perhaps, what I would say,
just say,
yeah. I think it's good that he's been able to refresh things, isn't it? And Keane comes back in, having played only 10 minutes in midweek. Davis hasn't played the last 2 games. He comes back in. James hasn't played much at all. So you're refreshing. I think it's only be 3 changes in midweek, but you're bringing in 3 players there who should all be able to add something a little bit different to the side.
It's funny because it suddenly seems like we have some reasonable squad depth.
Yeah.
And we only got 1 in January. Obviously, Bernard's still there, and I think he's fine coming off the bench. He's a good option to have. King, obviously, Iwobi's on the bench. Sigurdsson's on the bench. You got Mina on the bench and Coleman, Delphis as well. But do you know what I mean? There's proper first team players there, isn't there, on the bench to come on from going to the Newcastle game where we had nothing apart from Anthony Gordon. Now we've got options all over the pitch there, which just feels dead weird.
Yeah, it's mad how fast it's transformed, isn't it? It's literally a week ago that.
I know, it's nuts.
You've got Alan to come back into it as well. Let's not forget. He's an option. But it's mad. If you go back to that game you mentioned there, we played them about just over a year ago now, wasn't it? And drew 1-1. And someone had said to you, Everton are going to have James Rodriguez next year. And you're going to be playing him against Leeds, and you're going to have him on the bench, and he's going to be fully fit, and he would have been playing really well, but you're not even going to bring him on.
I know.
That's mad. But I think that's where I'm most excited / most concerned about this one tonight, and because I think United's left-hand side has been really good with whether it's Pogba who plays there or Rashford, but I think Luke Shaw's been playing dead well recently, getting up that left-hand side. And if James is playing right and Holgate's there, it's a big ask, isn't it, defensively, for him to run back. But he won't run back with him all day, will he?
No, but the thing is, though, the fact that it's Mason Holgate there, who is basically a centre-half / right back, he first and foremost takes his defensive duties to the game, doesn't he? So I think if you're going to have anyone in that right back spot, I think he's kind of making that his own at the minute.
Yeah,
I think Coleman's been ropey, and when you've got a player like James ahead of you, I think it's just important to have a defensive right back.
There'll be a bit more of that what we saw earlier in the season. I think with Decore effectively just plays in that space, in the right sort of defensive midfield space.
Yeah, he'll tuck in there.
Across.
How good was he against Leeds, by the way?
Yeah, he was brilliant, wasn't he? Absolutely fantastic. Just gutted he didn't get the assist for that amazing run and pass.
I know.
Oh, I bet you. Do you know what? I said this on the weekly though. Like most players in that situation would have been fuming at Dom, but when he missed, he just turned around and started running back the other way.
It was a weird finish from Calvert-Lewin, wasn't it? That it was sort of like
he just looked like he was knackered after that run.
Yeah, I mean he did put the afterburners on to get there, didn't he? Like
it's probably like head back, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
Let's have a look at some of the comments before we wrap up. Neil said Mina could do with a rest. Yeah, I think that's obviously fair enough. Alan Cattrall said this is before the team was announced. I'm hoping for a surprise Stone Cold Steve Austin entrance from Alan. Unfortunately not.
If only.
Yeah. Steven Spencer, take a point today, but we have some for Nados, Carlo Ancelotti. And Neil again saying Decore, like we just said, there's going to spend a lot of time covering across to the right.
Yeah.
Need James on the pitch. And, you know, having a fresh James on the pitch is great.
Oh, it seems massive, doesn't it?
Yeah.
There's one elephant in the room, both metaphorically and literally. John Moss is the referee.
That is a shame.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? That's not good news at all.
Nah.
Having us on VAR, I don't know either way with him, but John Moss being referee is just bad.
Who was it on VAR?
Andre Mariner.
I don't think he did. I don't know. I'm just totally ambivalent to them all. I either just don't care or don't like them.
Yeah. There's not one referee you think, do you know what? I'm glad you've got him today.
Yeah, I don't know. With United, maybe the VAR is a bit more important than others because you know they just seem to get penalties for lads breathing on their players in the box.
Yeah,
like the one in midweek was insane, wasn't it? Like that was looked at and given where Martial dived.
I haven't seen it. Was it?
Yeah, it was basically a carbon copy of Nias against Crystal Palace, which he got
really
a ban for. Yeah, just on his way down, and he basically dives into the lad's leg, and he gives it a penalty. But it's been rescinded for Bednarek, hasn't it? Because he played and he scored an own goal today. There's been no ban for Anthony Martial. You know,
it's bizarre, isn't it? Why?
Nias and Lanzini remain the two only players that don't need to have been. I don't even know if it's a rule anymore. Maybe it's just
it probably isn't. You know, speaking of Martial, he scored or assisted 9 goals in his last 11 appearances against us.
No, he's not. So he's on the bench, isn't he, tonight?
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
So there will be Greenwood, Rashford on the wings, Cavani up front, Fernandes, McTominay, Pogba in midfield.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
it's going to be a tough game, but I am looking forward to it.
There's quality. Pogba's one of them, and he you know, if you're intelligent in the way in which you can get around, like fill that space between midfield and defence, you can switch off a little bit, can't you, and chew the ball. And
yeah,
it's just we haven't really got a ball winner in there who could nick it off him really, but he's not as defensively switched on as someone like Fred, albeit he'll offer you more going forward.
No, and if it's not going for United, he's one of the players who'll disappear.
Yeah.
The 4-0 at Goodison springs to mind immediately when I didn't even realise he was on the pitch until about 35 minutes into the game.
Yeah.
And he got the ball. It was like, oh Christ, didn't know he was playing. So he is one of those players who, if it's not going well, you get at them early, he could disappear. But, flip side, he could change the game for them. It's really good, actually. I've never felt as confident that we can actually match them. With the park than tonight.
I think when you've got like the 2 games, when you've got like the 2 games in a week away from home, I think 2 games in 4 days away from home. If you win that first one, you just feel a whole lot better. Imagine if we'd got to Leeds or they come back and got a draw on Wednesday, we'd be sitting here going like, oh God, not sure.
Yeah. Well, that Leeds win was huge, wasn't it? It was massive. We needed it after Newcastle. And it is a mad stat as well. We played, there's one from Dave Prentice, we've actually played Newcastle, Leeds and United back-to-back once before in the 70s, but we won all 3. We get 2 out of 3, that'll be all right.
Well, pretty charming, yeah. Absolutely. But yeah, how do you think it's going to go then?
I'll run through some score predictions. So Mike Diasha said 3-1 to not us.
Oh, just miserable game.
Adam Sutton 2-2. Jack Carlisle 3-0 to Real Battersby. Although strictly speaking, Real Battersby's in a couple of weeks, isn't it? Because it's Man City's team.
Yeah.
The Stonewash Denham Brigade. Kate 3-1. I asked Joe and Jay. Joe said 2-1 and Jay said 2-2. Hannah 2-1. I'm gonna go 2-1 to the Toffees as well. I've
got a feeling we might sneak it tonight.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but maybe like a 1-0. 1-0 with someone you wouldn't expect to score the winner. I don't know. Tom Davis, there you go.
Oh my God.
Tom Davis scored the winner. That's what I'm going to go for.
I'm going straight down the offie if that happens. It'll probably be close. I'll be going to the all-night garage, to be honest. That'd be great.
And someone needs to just let tackle Fernandes. That's all I'll say. Don't hack him or break his leg or anything mad like that. But just just let him know that you're around, because he's a horrible snide. He's a brilliant footballer, but he's a horrible snide. If he gets the referee's ear and starts going down and gets away with things, then that sets a bit of a precedent. Just a little one early on, somebody.
Yeah. I mean, we could get that from Richarlison. Because I'm sure he's not going to be happy about what happened last time, is he?
Yeah. Just don't get himself sent off.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, they'll 2-foot him.
Don't do Chicago on him.
Never
mind what happens tonight. We'll be hearing about it in 2 years' time. Still, probably. My word.
Oh, God. Right, are you doing post-match?
Yeah, it'll be on here. So I've got Mark Mersey, Dave Downey and Linden. So should be good. Looking forward to it. Might not be looking forward to it at the end of the game, but yeah. Should be good chat anyway, regardless of the result.
Fingers crossed we will. So everyone get back for that. Wherever you're watching the game, probably at home, whatever you're drinking, have a good night. Up the toffees.